Yeah, they wish and they wish and they wish and they wish and they wishing on me. It's Tony time, bitch, I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from tiramisu's a struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. My elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. I don't really give a fuck who's with me. If this fat fuck will make weights a big mystery. If you were smart then you would probably pick me. To submit Khabib at UFC 223. To submit Pettis at UFC 229. Tony time. Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. Then moved up and fought with Lee. Either wait for GSP. You don't wanna mess with me. Tony time. Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib at UFC 223. Then moved up and fought with Lee. Either way for GSP.
Fucking did it to me.
I done did a lot of drugs in my day, yeah I said it, but I'm still gon' kick your ass, Gustafson, I hope you ready. When I got into the crash, I ain't know the bitch was pregnant, but they treat me like a murderer, so motherfucker critic. Bitch, I'm ready to fight, and we can fight till the death. I'll hit your ass with the right, then with the right and the left, then kick you right in the chest, and have you fighting for breath, and then I'll turn the pressure up when you would try to get rest, leave you no time to adjust. Daniel, I'm coming for the title, so quit hiding your necks, because I'm right at your neck. Yeah, you can try and fight Lesnar, but when you fight him, what's next? That's right, I'm the best. At UFC 232, I'll get my title instead.
We have been preparing for war. Proper 12!
They call me Conor McGregor, there's no one better. I'ma fuck Khabib up, then go rematch Floyd Money Mayweather. If this dog shit Dagestani thinks he can stand with me, I'll damage him and leave him panicking. Let Russia know I am the king. I don't like you, won't even pretend to try to. I've waited this long to fight you, you shouldn't have fucked with my crew.
We have been preparing for war.
You ambushed Artem Lobov in the hotel lobby, so we went and called game. Now I'm coked up off of Molly, so I'm coming to the stage, and I think that you should probably stay the fuck up out my way. Somebody get me a dolly.
You really think you're gonna enjoy with me? You can say, hey, you have a problem with my brother, you give him slap, now you have to give answer.
Proper 12!
You think whiskey gonna help you?
Yo, Conor McGregor, what the fuck is wrong with you? Come here, let me smash you like chicken, just let me humble you. You take all these drugs, but you won't take home a W. If we fight in UFC or if we fight with guns and crews. No, let me stop it, you don't want me to take it there. If you want, you can take a bear, send location, and I'll be there.
And these like
Thinking man here to ask.
ask these nuts!
What is going on, full-time family? It is time for an impromptu MMA current event show. We're just going to talk about some upcoming fights. You know how we do. There wasn't any fights over the weekend, so it's been a little, dead as far as MMA is concerned. But I have been working on something. In the meantime, I've been working on this new UFC Jeopardy theme. Check it out, you guys. This is going to be coming. I think we'll do it every Tuesday, so tomorrow. Yeah, what you know about that? We are ready. We got the UFC Trivia Weight Champion, Valentine T. But all right, let's get to the show for today. I'm just going to talk about a few things, and then I'll be out your hair. All right, let's pull up the chat, though, see who's already in the building. We got Leon Dubson, CFR Sports, Salute, Cheese, 56218. Stamina MC London calling. What is going on, everybody? I'm him 247 in the building. CFR Sports says one champion was on today. Funny you say one championship was on today. It probably happened at a time, probably like 4 a.m. my time. I mean, if it was a stacked UFC card, I would probably stay up. But there's no way I'm going to be staying up till 4 or 5 a.m. to watch some damn one championship. I'm sorry. That's just not how my work schedule was built. I'd rather be getting some, shut-eye for work. But either way, I do like that you brought up one championship, and also that my boy Stamina MC is in here, because me and him had a little bit of a conversation talking about this weekend's fight card. He called me a card-carrying apologist or something for my breakdown of these fights. He said I'm officially a card-carrying apologist. Some shit. At first, I didn't even know what the hell he meant, but after the conversation, I realized I think that I think too highly of this card, because I actually think this upcoming UFC Stockholm has some good fights. And it might surprise you if you don't like the main card. I actually think there's some really good fights on the prelims. So, I mean, if that makes me a card-carrying apologist, I hear you. But the reason I tied that in with the one championship is, if you don't even like this fight card, there's no way you're watching any of the Bellators or one championships or PFLs. I watch Bellator, PFL, UFC, and, I haven't watched one yet, but I'm sure that'll eventually, I'll see one or two of those cards if they get another stacked one. Demetrius Johnson fights over there, Eddie Alvarez, that dude that just fucking blitzed Sage Northcutt, Cosmo Alexandre. If they could stack a card with like Eddie Alvarez, Demetrius Johnson, who else went over there? Someone else went over there and lost. Some guys that we recognize. Then, Sage Northcutt, he's the other guy. But yeah, if they could put, maybe, we could watch a one card if it was at a better time. Who knows? But either way, my thoughts are, this UFC card has got to be more stacked than some of the other promotions. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll explain what I'm saying. Alexander Gustafsson versus Anthony Smith. I don't think I have to sell you on that fight. That's a fucking amazing fight between two of the best light heavyweights in the world. Anthony Smith just fought for the title. Both of these guys' last loss is to John Jones, so they're both top 5 contenders legitimately. Really good fight there. Anthony Smith is, Anthony Smith, even if you think he can't beat Alexander Gustafsson technically, you don't know about Anthony Smith, because he's the type of dude that's been down in fights and he's never out. He might be losing the first 2-3 rounds, kind of like Derrick Lewis, and then he'll come back and knock your ass out in that 4th round, 5th round, 3rd round, whenever it is. So that the main event here is fucking wonderful. Then you go to Volkan Ozdemir, Ilir Latifi, no time Ozdemir, knocks dudes out in seconds, currently riding a little bit of a skid, but he got all the way up to fighting Daniel Cormier. So he lost his last fight, coming to fight Ilir Latifi, who choked OSP out with a nasty standing guillotine, put him to sleep standing up. 2 more top 10 ranked light heavyweights. I fucking love this fight. Someone could go to sleep, someone could get choked out. We might see some wrestling. They're light heavyweights. Then you got Jimmy Manuwa versus Alexander Rakic. Jimmy Manuwa is definitely on a skid right now, but he's got some devastating KOs. He can knock dudes out, and this is likely going to be a stand-up fight. I think someone's going to sleep in this fight, and it could be either one of these guys. Alexander Rakic has looked fucking phenomenal in the UFC so far. Just spectacular what he's done, knocking dudes out, just sharp stand-up, beating guys that, high-level guys. So this is a big step up in competition for Rakic, but Jimmy Manuwa is like 39 years old, even though he's been fighting way higher-level competition. Another fight that I love on this card. And then parlay that into the fact that all of these are in the same division. Oh, wait, can you guys not hear me? Let me make sure I'm unmuted. Okay, I am. I was like, oh, wait, did I unmute myself? So parlay that into the fact that these are all in the same division. All of these 3 fights right here are in the UFC's light heavyweight division. It's going to shake that division up while John Jones fights Thiago Santos. And, let's say, because I predicted Gustafsson and Ozdemir to win, boom, we got a nice matchup out of there. There's a lot of stuff. This fight card has a lot of implications just on the light heavyweight division. And on top of that, they're all really good fights. So those fights alone have me excited for this weekend. Now, these fights I can do with. You know what I'm saying? If you've watched a Bellator card, or if you've watched a PFL card, or if you've watched a one championship card, If you've watched any card out of the UFC, these fights could be on those cards. Makwan Amirkhani is 4-1 in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Fishgold is 18-2. That's a legitimate fight. I'm looking forward to that fight. These guys are no scrubs. Damir Hadzovic versus Christos Giagos. That's one of them. Okay, that's not my favorite. That's not the. I'm not the most excited for that fight. But those other four, I love. Daniel Tamer, Sung Bin Jo. That's actually a good fight. Daniel Tamer, he hasn't been able to get a win in the UFC yet. Sung Bin Jo, the Korean Falcon, his first fight in the UFC, 9-0. He's finished all 9 of his opponents. That's a good fight to me. And then, look at the prelims. Tanya Evinger, Lena Landsberg. Tanya Evinger is a fucking beast. She's trying to get a win in the UFC, but Lena Landsberg's really good as well. She's got a fight with Cyborg, so both of these girls do. So these are both really tough fighters, and they got a lot to fight for on the main. They're going to be the main event of the prelims, but that's a good fight. Stevie Reyes fighting versus Leonardo Santos, good fight. Frank Camacho, how could you not be fucking excited for a Frank Camacho fight? Versus Nick Hine, I like that one. Darko Stozic versus Devin Clark, I know those guys. I mean, so I think there's actually a lot to watch on this weekend's fight card. I don't actually think I'm being a card-carrying apologist. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't get paid to fucking promote these fights. I just actually am kind of excited for them. But hey, that's my take on UFC Stockholm this weekend. But other than that, man, let's talk about some of these current events coming up. Conor McGregor relived his UFC 229 brawl. He recently sat down with Tony Robbins, and man, he embellished, man. Like he made this shit sound good. In his mind, he actually came out the victor that night. Like Khabib won the battle, but we won the war. Yo, check this out. I'm not gonna read all of these articles or anything like this, but I am gonna read Conor McGregor's quotes because it just sounds so good the way Conor McGregor put it. He said, "What had happened was the fight was done. The match was done. He climbed over the fence and jumped into the crowd to make a bit of noise, but as soon as he jumped into the crowd, he cowered away. I like to call it scurried away because they're little rats, they are. They scurried away. He said, I gave him my respect. Congrats. He won the match. Let's see what happens next time. I'm confident we'll get it again. Let's go again. I am humble in victory or defeat. No matter what, it's a sport at the end of the day. A gruesome sport, but it's a sport. I respect that I was defeated on the night. He jumped in and caused this chaos and went to attack, but really, he was just trying to hide away when he jumped out, so he really didn't do anything. I saw this take place. I got up off the ground and thought, okay, now I'm back in the mix. I really want to stop and interject and just call him on some of this bullshit, but I kind of don't because it's, Conor's narrative. I just want to read it out, but I'm going to, right there where he said that Khabib was trying to run away. Like, what was he running from in the cage? The guy that he just tapped out that's probably gassed? Like, what would Khabib have been running from? Getting his hand raised and the belt wrapped around his waist? He was not running from anything. He was running at Dillon Dannis, not from anybody. As a matter of fact, he jumped into your whole crew. With Khabib's usually surrounded by his goons, the whole squad. They always got his back. He's like, the young prince damn near. Like, everybody's got Khabib's back. He said he didn't wait for his entourage or nothing. Man done jumped the fence and flying eagle kicked into your whole squad. He wasn't running from anything. But let's continue with Conor's story. He said, I'm very self-defense minded. I have been since I was growing up. I know where my entrances and exits are. I'm very aware of my surroundings. When the fight was breaking out and I knew where people were coming in and out, there were a lot of rogue people where I didn't know who was with who. So I backed myself up against the cage wall where I thought I was good. But what happened was 2 of his teammates jumped over from right behind me. For me, with my mindset, it was fascinating to watch that back. I got to a place where I was good. I got to a safe place where I could see any oncoming threat and deal with it. Now, that's legitimate shit right there as far as the strategy is concerned. Now, Conor, keep in mind, had just fought Khabib. He might have been a little disoriented. Now, I'm sure he would have liked to be like Batman and just, cat-like reflexes back to the fence at that moment in time. And like I said, it sounds good. But if we just had the tape playing right here while we were listening to this account of the story, you would see the security guards actually ushered Conor back to the fence. Because if you know anything about security, bodyguard, and any type of work like that, that's part of your training. You know, if you're guarding somebody, you get their back close to the wall to where there can be no threats behind them. That's just bodyguard 101, security 101. So I don't know if that was Conor's strategy as much as the security's, but it sounds good, man. He said they came right over my back. The first one, the Chechen man, ran in front of me and went over to the brother that got smacked and was like, what happened? I don't know what he was saying. Then he turned back and saw me, but I already saw him as he turned back. Boom! I smacked him. He wobbled. As I smacked him and rocked him, the other one jumped in from over the back, and he sly hooked me from the side. I covered up, and that got separated. And then the final one was the original brother who was on top of the cage. He broke free from the security, ran at 100 miles an hour towards me. He threw a right hand, and as he threw the right hand, I threw the left. Boom! There's an image, an aerial image of the right hand whipping by my face, and then my left hand landing flush down the pipe, and that's the final blow of the night. So that's it. I win. That's the part of Conor I love, man. Like, I know he's, like, just seems to, the money seems to be turning him into a piece of shit, but him telling stories like that, that's the fucking Conor that we all love, man, that we loved now. It seems delusional, but that shit sounds good. He said, so that's it. I win. My man is fucking crazy. What is going on, Blaze One Sports in the building? But yeah, other than that, though, still staying on UFC 229 and Conor McGregor, he also revealed that he doesn't think he should have took the fight because he sustained an injury leading up to the Khabib fight. And, you know, I gotta call it like I see it. Conor's making, he's making excuses, man. Because people have pointed out and, like, literally went and got video of Conor. Because let me break down Conor's injury that he is saying that he had and why he should have reset the match and maybe rescheduled to fight Khabib at a later date because he wasn't 100%. But keep in mind, no fighter's ever 100% when they go into the octagon. But here's what Conor McGregor had to say. The most significant moment of my career was when I first tasted UFC Gold. He said it was UFC 189 in Las Vegas. I was supposed to face the current champion, Jose Aldo, but he pulled out 9 days before the bout with a broken rib. Someone threw a spinning back kick on him and broke his rib. It was more of a bruised rib. So he's kind of criticizing Jose Aldo for pulling out of the fight with a broken rib. And he's like, but I should have probably rescheduled my fight because I had a broken toe. He said, 2.5 weeks out from my last fight, I threw a front kick at a shooting Moldovan wrestler. A shooting wrestler is a guy that's shooting in on your legs. And when he shot and I threw the front kick, I threw it at his belly. And my two toes, my baby toe and the toe next to it, they bent back and stuck. They bent back like this and stuck in that position. So he's saying his toes got bent backward and they were stuck. He said, my doctor, who's here with me now, had to come into the cage, stretch it, and break it into place. My foot swelled like a balloon, and that was 2.5 weeks out from my last fight. That's one of the things I'm blessed with. I have many shots in my arsenal. I have many moves. I can box. I can kick. I have many different skills in my arsenal, but that's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing for obvious reasons. I can throw many moves. I can stifle an opponent. A curse because when I face a serious injury where I probably should have just reset the match to a later date, my hunger and my knowledge that I just need one shot. I have one limb gone, but I have another 7 limbs. The art of 8 limbs, this is, so I can utilize other strikes in my arsenal. He said the injury itself led me to half my workload. I couldn't run anymore. My weight was too high. So when you're cutting weight and you can't get your weight down because your weight's too high because of injuries or whatnot, I have a more intense weight cut. I was severely dehydrated. I couldn't sleep for 48 hours before the weight cut. These are all nonsensical excuses that I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a shit. That's why I walked in there hands down. Ding, ding, ding. Walked forward and he went running around the cage. Now, they're definitely nonsensical excuses. You know what I'm saying? Like I just pointed out, he said Jose Aldo didn't have a broken rib. He had a bruised rib. But my toe was bad, man, and it led to a bad weight cut, which led to the bad fight. It was my toe, and then it was the weight cut. A bunch of reasons. After the Nate Diaz fight, I should have been more efficient with my energy. You know, like, next time I'm good. So next time I'll make sure I'm 100%. Next time I'll use my energy better. I mean, and if you're a fighter and you're a brand, you know, you're kind of protecting your brand when you say stuff like that. So I get where Conor McGregor's coming from, but I do believe it is just excuses, and I think if he fights Khabib again, especially if he doesn't fight anybody in between, if he just wants to immediately rematch Khabib, I think he'll get smashed again. Just being real, you know what I'm saying? Now, that was UFC 229, and Conor McGregor. We know Conor McGregor has been potentially training here. There was talks of Conor McGregor fighting Cowboy Cerrone. There's been talks of Conor McGregor fighting a lot of people in the meantime while Khabib defends his belt against the rightful #1 contender and interim champion Dustin Poirier. But with that being said, it seems Conor McGregor has injured his left hand training, you know, just doing whatever training he is doing, just in the lead up, just staying ready. Conor McGregor says, intense training and sparring sessions, I will always push it to the limits. This comes off and I push on. The proper Don, nothing will stop me. So Conor McGregor looking a little injured, still training hard. But if you know Conor McGregor, man, he doesn't, for one, he trains with SBG. You know, Conor McGregor is their prized pupil, and aside from Conor McGregor, their fight team doesn't have too much success. And you might question some of their, or not even there. I'll just say Conor McGregor because I don't know if they all do it. But Conor McGregor, in leading up to the Khabib fight, he had something on his finger, and people pointed it out like, "Oh shit, is Conor's hand injured?" And he said that he was sparring bare knuckle with some middleweight dude. And so you know Conor likes to spar bare knuckle. And so, I mean, if you're sparring bare knuckle and with bigger dudes and you're throwing fucking kicks at wrestlers and shit, you might get injured leading up to your fight. It's going to be hard to be 100% if you're sparring bare knuckle and injured. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, what about Conor McGregor and bare knuckle? Yo, that might be, I'm sure he would never do it, but that would be a fucking show. He likes sparring bare knuckle. I'm sure his team wouldn't approve it, but I bet you Conor would like to get down in some bare knuckle. I mean, his teammate Artem Lobov is about to fight Paulie Malignaggi, so you know he's probably getting some rounds in with Artem. Shit, bare knuckle. But Artem's got to be careful because he just fought that war with Jason Knight, so he can't be getting too cut up leading into this Paulie fight, honestly. With that being said, we'll move on to the next topic. Khabib Nurmagomedov's teammates received a reduced suspension ahead of UFC 242. This Khabib Nurmagomedov, you know, he took a stance. He was saying, if my teammates are suspended for a year or longer, or there was talks of lifetime suspensions for some of these guys for their role in the UFC 229 brawl, Khabib said, if they can't fight, I'm not fighting. You know, he's very loyal to his team, and that could have played a part in why these suspensions were reduced, because Khabib took that firm stance. And you got to think, he has a little bit of power he can throw around now. It's kind of like, you know, Conor McGregor. Whenever he does something and he kind of gets away with it, or he makes a demand, it's like, okay, I just won't fight in your city. And they're like, no, never mind. It's all good. Come back. So with that being said, Khabib's got a lot of power now, being the lightweight champion, being the guy that just smashed Conor McGregor. And UFC 242 is going to take place in Abu Dhabi, which is where Khabib is supposedly fighting next. That's where they're targeting. And ahead of that, his teammates' suspensions were reduced, which moves along with that plan. I'm sure that makes Khabib happy. And I'm sure he'll be ready to fight as soon as his suspension is up himself. So that's good news for Khabib in his next fight. And also likely these guys could be fighting on that Abu Dhabi card as well. Tony Ferguson and Khabib's manager Ali Abdelaziz are trading barbs on Twitter. I got to admit, I don't even know how to feel about this. This Ali Abdelaziz, he's really good at getting his fighters the best fights. So as far as what an MMA manager is supposed to do, I think he's the best in the game. I don't think there's anybody with a better resume at getting their fighters title fights and opportunities and such like Ali. Now, with that being said, he also reminds me of one of them like WWE managers that like he fucking, you know, like he'll talk trash for his fighters. But this one, I'm like, is this real here? Like these guys are like threatening to fight each other. This is a manager and a fighter. Like You're supposed to be building up a fight between your client and this guy, not between yourself and this guy. But Ali Abdelaziz took to Twitter and he said the real champion is fighting the number one contender. He's talking, of course, about Khabib versus Poirier. He said a clown's fighting a cowboy. That's crazy. And he said a quitter's fighting someone who would take his soul away. Or he said a quitter fighting someone who will take his soul away. So this is just a poster of what could happen. Maybe a fan-made poster. It says odd men out, McGregor and Gaethje. I don't think McGregor would fight Gaethje. That's a really tough fight. And hey, now that we think about it, maybe that's why, he probably wrapped his hand like the UFC offered him the Justin Gaethje fight. He started immediately wrapping his hand. Nuh-uh. My fucking dude, I just threw this thing. I'm training way too hard. So once Gaethje gets a fight booked, I'm sure my hand will be feeling a little bit better. But Abdelaziz has Conor McGregor with the chicken emoji. Tony Ferguson, he said a clown fighting a cowboy. Well, that sounds crazy. But, man, people got to get off Tony Ferguson's helmet because Tony Ferguson is one of the most deserving fighters in the UFC. As far as resume is concerned in the division that he's fighting in, the interim championship that he won and got stripped of, and now he's about to be fighting on, like, prelims instead of fighting for the rightful title. But he did have that opportunity now, keep in mind. It ended up being Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. I don't think Tony Ferguson wanted to fight for a second interim title, and you can't blame him. That's the UFC, they already stripped you of your interim title after you won it once. Now they're going to offer you another interim title fight? That's like a fucking slap in the face. No, but if you win this time, you get to fight Khabib. You just avoid all cords. So, Tony Ferguson responded to Ali Abdelaziz and said, ain't no clowning around, you fake fuck. Ali Abdelaziz, you better leave my name out your mouth before I mop the mat with your sorry ass. You ain't shit without your homeboys, you snitch. No pride, no guts, just like your paper chump. Team Khabib, see you in person. Now, Khabib is not the paper champion, but these guys are definitely, they have a grudge with each other. And to Tony Ferguson, that could be his stance. He feels like he's the real champion. How is anybody a real champion until they beat me? Until you beat Tony Ferguson, are you just a paper champion? You could argue that. How the fuck are you a champion in a division with Tony Ferguson in it and you have not fought him? It's just hard, because he's easily, you could say he's better than the last two guys Khabib fought, and the guy he'll be fighting, it's arguable. Dustin Poirier versus Ferguson would be a great fight. I don't know who would win that, but you could argue Tony Ferguson easy. Ali Abdelaziz responded one more time. He said, you're fighting on the undercard June 8th. Focus on that and shut your mouth. Talk is cheap. Next time you see me, do something about it, punk boy. He's telling Tony Ferguson, when you see me, do something about it. And that's kind of where it got iffy with me. It's like, like Tony Ferguson versus Ali Abdelaziz is not the fight I'm looking forward to seeing. Tony Ferguson, though, I do like his last response. He said, I can't stoop to your level anymore. You're an embarrassment to the sport and all MMA fans. I'm too focused for you and anyone else. Yeah, I'm fighting on the undercard for UFC 238, but I don't mind. It's champ shit, Ali. Something you'll never know about. Praying for you. Tony Ferguson taking the high road. My fucking man. I'm glad he didn't stoop to that level. Like, what the hell? We don't need to be, talking fighting words with a manager on Twitter. That's not a good look. Let's just focus. And it is some bullshit. I mean, what they did do in this whole little spat, they highlighted the fact that Tony Ferguson is fighting on a damn undercard. What? But, I mean, it's not, it seems like a slight, and maybe it is. You can argue that if you want. I wouldn't argue it too much with you. But this is kind of the new era, you know what I'm saying? This is the ESPN era. It's not the same pay-per-view era, and the pay-per-views are selling at an all-time low. Really, it's more of an ESPN Plus thing. So being on ESPN 2, if that's where the first portion of the card is, it's actually, you're going to have a lot more people watching you. So it's not a bad thing necessarily in this era to be in the main event of the prelims. But still, Tony Ferguson versus Cowboy on the prelims does seem a little crazy. Not too much more here. A couple of things to talk about. Jessica Andrade. We got to talk about Jessica Andrade. Kayla Harrison, and then I'll be out your hair. Jessica Andrade, she said, Joanna has to win fights to earn a UFC title shot. Now, this is very interesting. Jessica Andrade just beat Rose Namajunas for the title. Only girl to ever beat Jessica Andrade at strawweight is Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Jessica Andrade is, now that she has the belt, looks to be avoiding Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who I'm sure a lot of people now want to see fight for the title. Does she deserve it? That's arguable. She fought Tisha Torres, and then she moved up, fought Valentina Shevchenko, lost at the new division. But at the same time, that is a fight I'm sure people would like to see, the rematch. Jessica and also just the UFC. You know, I'm sure they would like to see Joanna be champion again. They gave her an immediate rematch against Rose. You know, if they didn't like Joanna as champion, then she wouldn't have got that opportunity. It's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't get immediate rematches, and Joanna's got one of the biggest legacies in this division. She was the strawweight queen for a long time, and so this would be a favorable matchup for her to get the belt back, now that Rose is no longer the champion. Now, Joanna's most recent fight is at flyweight, and also it's hard to miss and hard to not think about. Joanna Jędrzejczyk used to have bad weight cuts. She used to have bad weight cuts to 115. It's hard to miss her new, you know what I'm saying? She got some new implants. I would just imagine it makes your weight cut just a little harder. And I think Joanna, did she pass out one time in one of her weight cuts? So it would be a hard weight cut, and that could honestly affect her performance. And that could honestly mean a different result in the fight if she did cut to 115 again. But Jessica Andrade, this is what she had to say. She says, as far as the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, she says, everybody expects me to fight Joanna, but she has to work and try to get another opportunity to fight for the belt. When I fought her and lost, I had to get back in there and win 3 fights against 3 high-ranked fighters to earn another chance. For her to fight me, she has to do the same. She has to get some wins, fight higher-ranked girls, and then if she wins, she'll have the chance to fight me. I do believe that the next line will get the winner, Nina versus Tatiana, she thinks, or Michelle Waterson. She said, I'll wait. When the UFC calls me, I'll be ready. So that's interesting. And this is a situation that reminds me of Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw lost his title, didn't get an immediate rematch, even though it was a split decision. He had to go fight number 1 contender after number 1 contender, and ultimately he had to fight the guy that he got skipped by. Cody Garbrandt got to skip him in the rankings and fight Dominic Cruz for the belt. And so now he wins the belt from Cody Garbrandt after getting skipped over, and he's like, you're not getting a fucking immediate rematch after what I just had to go through? After everything I had to go through to get my belt back? And you got to skip me? I'm not giving you an immediate rematch. He ultimately realized it was the biggest money and possibly legacy fight available and did take the rematch. So that could happen here. We could still see this next. It's still a possibility. I mean, she did throw out a couple other names. Nina Ansaroff versus Tatiana Suarez. I would love to see Tatiana Suarez versus Jessica Andrade. That would be crazy. Michelle Waterson's making her way up there to a title shot, making her case for a title shot. But I got to admit, out of all of these girls, who's got the best chance of beating her? You'd have to give the edge to Joanna because she's already beat her. And we've seen Rose having success against Jessica. Joanna is a bad matchup for Jessica Andrade. That's just the way it is. She's a bad matchup. We know she can jab her face off all day, and it's harder to take Joanna down because she's taller. So you go to lift her up and her fucking feet are still on the ground. It's just a lot harder to take Joanna down. And so Joanna, could just be, styles make fights. Jessica beat Rose. Rose beat Joanna, but Joanna beat Jessica. It could be a situation like that. But either way, we'll see what happens next for Jessica Andrade. It could be the winner of Nina versus Tatiana. Could be Michelle Waterson. But I'm sure Joanna's going to be campaigning for that title shot. Now, the future GOAT, Kayla Harrison, she's got her next fight booked. And oh, it's an amazing matchup. After Kayla Harrison's most recent performance, she was hard on herself, and people used that. Ah, look, there's holes in her game. She's even crying. I fucking love the Harrison haters. You guys are just riding the wrong train, man. Like, you know how much crow you're going to have to eat being a Harrison hater? All you can say is, one day she'll lose. Oh yeah, who's not going to lose one day? John Jones is going to lose one day. Amanda Nunes is going to lose one day. Yeah, no crap, Kayla Harrison's going to lose eventually. But it's not going to be until she's fighting the best of the best, because that's what she's going to be, one of the best fighters in the world. So only time she's ever going to lose is if she fights a Chris Cyborg, and she's still going to have a good chance in that fight. Or an Amanda Nunes. Oh wait, they're teammates. They're never going to fight. So I really don't know who's going to beat Kayla Harrison. But after her last fight, she fought on the same card as Sarah Kaufman. Sarah Kaufman got a first round finish. Oh, boom, boom, snapped the girl's arm. Ah! Oh, give me that arm. I don't even know how she won, but it was a first round finish, and people said, oh, that girl right there, oh, Kayla ain't going to be able to beat Sarah Kaufman. She had a better finish. She got a finish. Kayla Harrison got a decision. I was like, okay. You really have to look at the level of competition. You've got to look at who did they fight. So I looked at it, and guess who Sarah Kaufman fought? Morgan Freer. And everybody was just, oh, Sarah Kaufman looked dominant. Oh, that Sarah Kaufman in there, I don't know if she's going to be able to beat Kayla Harrison. Just gave her all the props in the world. Didn't care who she fought. Every time Kayla Harrison fights, from her first pro fight, who was she fighting? Why wasn't she fighting a champion? Because it's her first pro fight. Who's she fighting her second fight? Oh, she was 8-2? Oh, well, she wasn't a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter that she beat a girl that's 8-2 because the girl wasn't, I guess, a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She beats a girl that's 11-2. Doesn't matter. Sarah Kaufman beats Morgan Freer, and she's the Kayla Harrison killer all of a sudden. So I hope people give that same respect to Kayla Harrison when she comes in here and beats Morgan Freer faster than Sarah Kaufman did, because that's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting under 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And people are going to hate on it. After they just gave Sarah Kaufman all this credit, they're going to still find a way to hate on Harrison. Gotta love the Harrison haters. I know what's coming. I'm about to fucking beat this girl. And it's going to be quick. I'm telling you, that's my prediction. So, we'll see. But I'm sure the Harrison haters are going to hate all the way until, Kayla Harrison gets called out by Cyborg in the WWE. Oh, she's scared to fight Cyborg in the WWE. It's coming. I know. It's coming. But hey, I think that's a good place to end the show, man. Kayla Harrison's next fight is booked. She's going to be fighting at PFL 15. Most PFL cards are on like Thursday, so I'll probably be working. But either way, salute to everybody that came through to the show. And make sure tomorrow you tune in. I'm going to be getting the show ready. We're going to be doing this Jeopardy. And it's a little bit better, man. I've been working on the layout, so if you weren't here in the beginning of the show, this is what it's going to look like. See, I've been working on it. Wow, we got us a little Jeopardy scene now. We got the Jeopardy trivia weight belt right under me. Valentine T is the current trivia weight champion. And if he's not able to make it tomorrow, then we'll have an interim trivia weight champion, unless he's here to defend his belt. And other than that, if you want to play, eventually the only people that are going to be able to play is whoever's joined the Discord, which is free. Just click the link in the description, join the Discord. You can join the Jeopardy game. You'll be playing. And also, of course, if there's anybody that supports the channel through Patreon, you guys got first dibs. If you want to hop on the Jeopardy show and just play some MMA trivia on Tuesdays. So that'll be something we do. I think it'll be pretty fun. Last one was fun. After I get off the show here, I'll start scheduling that for tomorrow. So with that being said, let's pull up the chat and we'll get right back to the show and out your hair, man. All right, full time on this team again, says CFR Sports. Oh, we're going to have some fun on Tuesdays, dog. Leon Dobson's only by an inch. John Doe says, is JJ taller than Rose? I'm pretty sure she is. Now that you say that, Rose is pretty fucking tall, right? Joanna? Or maybe she just has way better takedown defense. 5'6". I think, what is Rose? 5'4"? 5'5". So she's 1 inch taller. Okay, yeah, by an inch, says Leon Dobson. Yeah, she's 1 inch taller. But that inch, I mean, if you looked at Rose trying to take Joanna down in the fight, I mean, that inch really mattered. Where have you been full time since EBS Rock? I've been working. I've been, me and my girl's anniversary was yesterday, 7 years. So I definitely wasn't doing nothing yesterday. And even though I haven't been live, like I said, I've been working on that scene, like for Trivia Tuesdays. I've been building this thing over here. And so, yeah. And there hasn't been any fights or anything. So just not a lot to cover. But yeah, I've been working a lot. And I just got past the UA stage, so within the next week, it's just paperwork and stuff at this point. I'll be starting my full-time gig, so I'll really be busy. But we'll still be here on Tuesdays and doing the fight companions and stuff like that. So with that being said, it is what it is. That's it for today's show, man. Discord link, the link is in the description, and if it's not, I will put it in there. Let me get that for you, because it might not be in the description on this channel, actually, now that I think about it. I'll have, yeah, because we were on UFC Yankovic. So the Discord link I will put in the description. Let me get that for you now. I'll go to like my last UFC Yankovic video, and it'll have it in the video description. Stamina MC's got the link, I believe, in the chat. Click that link, Stamina MC shared, and you will join the Discord. Thank you very much, Stamina MC. John Taylor says, did you pass the Wizinator test? I believe I did. The only thing I was worried about was the temperature, and the lady, after I took the UA, she didn't say anything about the temperature, put it in the vial, sent it off to the lab. So that part should be crystal clear. I just got to do like a reading and a little basic math test, and it's super easy shit. But, it's just to make sure that fucking robots aren't getting hired. But yeah, so hit the like button before this is over to help the algorithm, guys, says Hassan Masweer. Yeah, man, YouTube's algorithms, I think even if we got 32 thumbs up, I don't think we'd hit the algorithms. Their algorithms seem to be broke for our channel, but maybe, a lot of thumbs up will help that. But hey, it is what it is. I don't care about, that stuff really, how many people watch, and I'm just here for the people that do enjoy MMA and the channel. You guys have some content, to get through your days. So yeah, with that being said, I'm out of here for now. We'll be back tomorrow, full-time trivia. Look at the number of subscribers, 1337. We'll be back tomorrow. And with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time fan know what you think in the comments. I'm